Hey, good morning. We're here on Saturday again. Again, trying to see if we're going to get more rain. April showers bring May flowers, right? It's going to take a few more seconds to see if anyone is going to join a little last minute. And again, the only prop we're going to need today is something for you to sit on. We do our meditation. So a rolled up blanket, a pillow, cushion, something just to give you some extra support so that your spine can be supported and we can stay lengthened and elongated during that time. The Kriya today has the meditation included. So we're getting like a little combo action happening. And we'll just go ahead and begin. So today, I wanted to talk about, again, just taking a moment to acknowledge the reality that we're living with right now, how our day to day is being impacted, how our functioning is being impacted, how we are navigating defining what our new normal is, how we are navigating different ways to be able to show up for ourselves, to anticipate our needs ahead of time so that we're not reaching that point of burnout. And then hopefully, after we can kind of do those first steps, kind of like a do not pass go, we can take care of ourselves first, then we can be in this place to better show up for the people in our lives, the people around us, people in our communities. So I want to bring it all back to this idea that the reason why we practice yoga, it's not to escape from the world, it's not to be in our own little bubble and protect ourselves, but it's to do these different practices so that we're able to be more in union with two different things. One, ourself, figuring out, navigating, exploring that union of mind, body, spirit, and ourself. And then being able to be in union again with those that we share our life with. Because if we are in a place where we're feeling anxious, we're feeling afraid, we're worried about the unknown of what's coming next, or we feel like we're on shaky ground, it makes it very difficult to focus on anything else besides that. We can get very focused into what is that one issue and trying to problem solve and get that discomfort away as quickly as possible. Because when shit is hitting the fan or things are changing, things are different, we try to get in this place to where we don't want to feel it. We want things to just go back to normal. We want things to return how they were before. Use like quotes on normal now because again we're redefining that. And this energy can be very contagious. And Brene Brown has a podcast that she's been releasing recently called Unlocking Us. And I really like that idea of just kind of, getting to that place again where we're trying to deconstruct these things to get into a place to bring us to a better union. And she's talking about how anxiety is extremely contagious and it's a function of groups. And she's getting some of this research from Harriet Lerner as well in her different books that she's released. The Dance of Anger, The Dance of Fear, The Dance of Connection, which is a great one if you're looking for additional resources. And I've observed this behavior in the past month or so. And I think if you're like me, you've seen it too, where in our stores, we've seen this sort of scarcity where people have been purchasing things and acting in this way that they are trying to protect themselves, trying to get in a place where they just feel safe and stable. But the images that we see are people hoarding and people not sharing and leaning towards that other balance. And that can be very contagious. When you start to see people freaking out, then you think, oh, should I be freaking out? What about me? Am I protecting myself, my resources? And you start to feel all of that sort of stuff bubbling up, right? And so I don't want to talk about that too much because we want to let that be and we want to focus on sort of the other side of the spectrum. So rather than balancing this way, we want to lean into calm a little bit because calm is also infectious. And so I'm asking you to sort of bring to mind if there's anyone that when you're in their presence, their calmness brings you down a little bit, right? Their ability to be grounded in the present moment, to not bring that nervous, anxious energy helps to bring you down a little bit, right? Is that something that you're able to offer to yourself? Is that something that you're able to offer to others in your presence? And Brene talks about this being a practice, just like anything else. We can practice calm. And speaking as someone who's done a lot of work around this, because I don't want to say I used to be an anxious person because I can still be an anxious person sort of under the surface. I've done a lot of work to try to make calm my superpower. And so that's what I want to share with you today. And Brene talks about 3 different things that we can do to practice calm. And so that first one is when we're kind of in the midst of things and we're kind of in the shit a little bit. The first part is practicing that mindfulness. And mindfulness is the ability to drop into the present moment, to be just with what is here. And when we start to notice the narrating or the thoughts or the thinking going off, it's okay, how can I bring myself back into here? The second part is gaining perspective on complex situations. So, again, when we are stuck maybe in this narrating or this story that we're telling ourselves, and we can maybe, I have a tendency to play out worst case scenarios. I think that I'm like a fortune teller or something with my own life, where I end up using my imagination to create worry and to create more stress. And instead of that, it's taking a moment to zoom out. And if I'm not really able to gain perspective on that situation at the time, then I look towards people who I trust to give me a little bit of that perspective or to weigh in. And then I can take some of that information and figure out, okay, what's making sense to me, what's not. And it's getting me sort of another view from another angle, right? And that helps to lessen the tension a little bit more. So with the mindfulness, we're lessening the tension. With the perspective, we're lessening the tension. And that last piece is cultivating the ability to manage our emotional reactivity. So again, in the moment, noticing, okay, in the body, am I tensing up? Am I tensing my jaw? Am I bringing my shoulders up to my ears? Am I covering my belly? Am I starting to fold in on my heart because I'm protecting it because what's happening now is way too scary? Noticing those things, noticing the emotion, noticing how your breathing is changing. And again, just taking a step and going, hey, okay, this has gone too far out of balance on this way. How can I compensate, right? And so it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of messing up. It takes a lot of not quite catching it as quickly as you'd always like. But the point is that you're just noticing. And when you notice, then you can start to work on that. So today, the Kriya and the meditation that we're going to practice, they're going to give you that opportunity to focus on the tension that you're hanging on into your body. breathing through, releasing some of that, and focusing in on having a calm and open heart. Because when we have that and we have it to where it comes from a sense of confidence, again, that's infectious to other people. So if you're the type of person that's worried about, I just want to get to where I can do that for other people, don't set yourself up for that yet. Focus on calming yourself, and then you can get to that place to where you're able to be that calm for other people. So I hope I didn't put too much on your plate with that, but just want to plant that seed a little bit, that even if you're prone to feeling these feelings, calm is a feeling that you can cultivate, and it's something that you can practice. And so I want to share that with you today so that we can practice it. So go ahead and bring yourself, let's scoot back a little bit, bring yourself to a cross-legged position. We're going to tune in, just like we do before any class, with the Adi mantra. So that is 3 times, Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. And while we're moving through this practice, while releasing the tension, releasing emotions in our body, we're turning on our Wi-Fi and we're saying, hey, let my highest and best show up for me today. Let me just, rather than worrying about, oh no, I feel the tension in my shoulders, what does it mean? Don't worry about it, what it means. Don't worry about, again, playing out that narrative. Just breathe through it, let it come through you in whatever way, and release it. And like I said, whenever we practice Kundalini, it's all about mindfulness, it's all about awareness, it's all about release. And so that release could come up in different ways. It could come up as sneezing, coughing, yawning, farting, burping, crying. Any of those things is totally fine. It could even be laughter. I had one class where I had uncontrollable laughter, and it was very fun. So let yourself lean into whatever that experience is. Focus again on the breathing and the mental scanning of the body and what you can release here. So bring your hands into heart center, give it a little rub, create some of that heating, activating energy. Bring your focus up to the third eye and take this time to focus on an intention for today's practice. We're focusing on calm, focusing on really opening ourselves up to vulnerability. And when you've got that in your mind, let your hands come to stillness at heart center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Let's do that one more time. Inhale deeply. Bring those shoulders up towards the ears this time. And then exhale, roll those shoulders down and back so they sit just a little bit lower than before. Connect with your breath here. Inhaling. Exhaling. Focusing in on your posture so that the spine is lengthened. Chest slightly lifted. Chin is down and back. Gaze at the third eye. Inhale deeply. Exhale consciously. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Pull up on root lock to squeeze the anal sphincter, sex organs. Visualize that energy spiraling from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head. Let it lengthen you. And before it's uncomfortable, exhale slowly through the nose. Bring the hands down onto the knees. And just take a moment here, keeping that gaze inward and upward. Take a moment to witness the space you've created. Do a mental scan of the body. Notice here, without judgment, where you may still be feeling some tension and where you may have already created a bit of expansion. Good. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. We'll do a bit of warm-ups here. So we'll begin on the mat on hands and knees for a bit of cat-cow. Since we're working with the shoulders and the heart center today, we really want to work on the flexibility of the spine, just like every time. So find that this one, especially if you're pressed for time, really helps to warm up the entire spine. So you're going to bring your knees so that they sit underneath your hips. The hands are going to be underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide. If you have any issues with your wrists, if this is too painful, you can bring your hands into fists and let that support you here. And we're going to, on the inhale, let the belly drop, let the chest and the head lift. Exhale, round out through the spine. Just go at your own pace here. Inhaling, exhaling. Getting that flexibility in the spine. Maybe really slow to begin with. Might even be a little bit painful. You may experience some soreness with the upper back. Just be gentle with yourself moving into these positions. Begin to notice too the difference between what is something that we may categorize as pain, but it's really just discomfort. It's really just uncomfortable. Something that needs to be leaned into a bit. Whenever I first started yoga, I used to only do the poses that were easy for me, the ones that I thought I could master. And then I quickly realized that I was missing the point. That the whole point is to lean into those things that are difficult, to try to conquer new ways of being. And really just figure out what's the difference between discomfort and true pain. So true pain is, you feel that shooting pain, something that's a nerve, something that's going to mess with an injury. We want to stay away from those things. But if it's just a little bit of soreness or a little bit of tightness, we want to try to figure out how to breathe into those things. Good. So on your next exhale, let's stay in this position, pushing, rounding out, and do an inhale here too. Good. Exhale. Let yourself come down, sitting onto your heels. Let the forehead touch the mat. The arms come out in front of you to get a little bit more stretch in the back body. We'll do some long, deep breathing here. Feel that breath come into the back of the shoulders, the back of the ribs, maybe the back of the legs, the lower back. As you inhale, you may feel some tension building in the body, just the way that it wants to hold on to the breath. And the exhale is where we release all of that tension. So on your next exhale, take a moment here to let go of something from your week, something that's been stewing on your mind, some thought that's just been draining you. Just let it out right onto the mat. On your next inhale, bring the palms underneath the shoulders. Use the hands to slowly push yourself up. And then come back seated into a cross-legged position. We'll do a little bit of breathing here. Placing the hands on top of the shoulders, fingers in front, thumbs in back, keeping those elbows lifted. As we turn to the left, we will inhale. As we turn to the right, we will exhale. Again, the movement's coming from the ribs here. So keeping those elbows lifted. Work on this movement here. You may get a lot of movement, you may not get much. But breathing through it, you may notice it starts to open up a bit. Notice where you're carrying tension. Keeping the muscles on the face soft here. Good. Inhale to center. Bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, sweep the arms down until they touch the ground. Again, take a moment here. Witness the space that you've created. Where are you noticing tension? Where are you noticing a sense of expansion? Good. Bring the hands on top of the knees. Last warm up here, we'll do a little bit of neck rolls. So again, let the nose guide you. Choose any direction you like because we're going to go in the other direction. So begin rotating upwards as you inhale. Exhaling on the downward. Just let your nose guide you in circles. Working on the throat chakra here. Releasing tension in the neck. Balancing our ability to communicate with ourselves and others. Good. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause at the bottom of your circle and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. Still inhaling up, exhaling down. Good. Slowly begin to make the circles smaller and smaller until you find yourself at a neutral space in the center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Okay. So here we begin our Kriya. I'm going to give myself a little bit of cushion throughout this one. This Kriya will be done seated the entire time. So I like to give myself a little bit of cushion. I have really tight hips. And so when I give myself a little bit more posture in there, it just helps me to be able to keep my spine lengthened so that I'm not crunching or collapsing it sort of in any weird way. And I'm just keeping that channel open. So the very first one is going to be a breath with the tongue extended. So you're going to try to sort of reach as far as you can towards your chin. And we're just going to do some deep, powerful breathing through the mouth. So no nose breathing this time. And we'll begin here this very detoxifying breath. So we'll just be here for 1 minute. And really focus here on bringing all of that air in deeply from the diaphragm. And on the exhale, pushing every last bit of air out again with that diaphragm. Inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale completely through the nose. Next, we are going to stimulate the palate with the tip of the tongue. So we're going to create a rhythm similarly to when we're doing meditation and chanting. We're stimulating the brain. It's going to stimulate the brow point, get some of those feel good hormones going through the brain down the spine. And we're going to say it's a la la la, but it's high pitched and it's explained as a warble. So it's almost like a little, if you had a flute and you were sort of trilling it, I guess. In Middle Eastern cultures, partners do this call, this sort of warble call to welcome in people when they're returning from battle. So I invite you here again. We'll only be here for a minute. So while we're doing this, thinking about, is there a battle that you're returning from? Is there something that you need to come home from and just drop here? So the eyes are closed. Again, it's from the tip of the tongue, and it's this high-pitched warble. La 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 Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Good. Again, notice where you are releasing that tension throughout these. Next one, the hands are going to be formed into fists here. So take the thumbs, turn them into the fleshy part underneath the pinky, and then bring the fingers over the thumbs so that you've got sort of a tight fist here. And this one is similar to an exercise called egg beater, where you keep the hands here parallel in front of the heart center, and you're going to just very rapidly make a circle here so that you're turning forward and away from yourself, keeping the palms facing down. Again, focusing on keeping that spine elongated. It's a really good movement for the heart here. Let the breath do whatever it wants. Just focus on that rapid movement, keeping those fists in front of the heart center. If you hit your hands together, it's totally okay. Just keep going. Keep squeezing those thumbs. Keep the muscles on the face soft. Keep the jaw relaxed. Good. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Shake out the hands. Maybe rotate the wrists. Okay, next one. You need to take a moment here before we begin to stretch out your legs at all, or if you need to do this throughout in between, please feel free to take a moment and you want to bounce the knees, do some little windshield wiper movements, maybe even pedal the feet so that you're flexing from the toes all the way up to the hips to get some more movement into those legs. Good. So returning back to cross leg, we are going to let the arms come out straight in front of us, palms facing each other, and we will alternately move the arms up and down. Again, the breath can do whatever it wants to naturally here, but we're just moving these arms up and down so that they're maybe spanning the length of about a foot or two. And this movement's really going to help to adjust the rib cage here, help support that area all around the heart, helping to facilitate that opening. The tendency may be to bend the elbows. We want to keep them straightened as much as possible throughout this one. Again, scanning the body here for any tension. Working on that mindfulness of how we can return to this moment, how we can self-soothe, use the breath to lean into that discomfort and let it go. Good. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Shake it out. All right. This next one is going to have, again, hands are going to be out, but they're going to be almost at like a 60-degree angle out in front of you. So we'll look kind of like this angle here. And when they're out in front of you, you're going to do sort of like this hand clap movement where you're trying to get your fingers to hit your palm. And you're just going to rapidly do this movement here. So again, the breath does whatever it wants. Focus here, keep that movement, especially in the forearms. The fingers will want to slow down. How can you push through that mental resistance, that barrier? Release the tension, push through, find victory on the other side. Let yourself use that calm. Keep that movement as rapid as possible. You can do this. We're almost there. 10 more seconds. Good. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Shake it out. Okay. Next, I'm actually going to come down off of my blanket for this one and pull the fleshy parts out from the bones so that my sit bones are sitting on the ground. And this next one's called Sufi grind. So we will be moving in a counterclockwise direction or to the left. And it's going to be this movement where you are almost churning what's happening in the center direction. So it's called Sufi grind because you're grinding sort of the lower back and the lower spine, but you're sort of grinding and massaging all of those internal organs, giving them a little squeeze, getting them to, relax and giving them sort of a little hug. So we'll just move here. And when you get the movement and you feel safe to where you're not going to injure that lower back, it feels pretty fluid, you can begin to do it a little bit more rapidly here. But if you're still feeling like you got a lot of sticky bits in there, don't worry about it. Go at your own pace. Yeah, I don't know why. I just get the visual of like churning butter for some reason. Okay, 15 more seconds here. Good. Inhale deeply. Exhale consciously. Okay. Next one, this is our last one before we have a 2-part meditation in the Kriya. And this one is called body drops. So you'll want to be, again, mindful of your wrists here. If you have wrist issues, again, use the fists to push yourself up if you need to. But what body drops are is literally you're going to push yourself up with your hands and let your body drop. And you're going to give yourself a little bit of it's almost like a shock wave from the earth. You're feeling it on your sit bones. You're feeling that vibration travel all the way up the spine, all the way up your body. But you want to make sure that you're definitely lifting your hips off of the ground with the hands. Good. Stick with it. We're almost there. 10 more seconds. Good. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Pull up on root lock. Visualize that energy spiraling from the base of the spine, past the heart center, up through the crown of the head. Squeeze, 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 elongate. And before it's uncomfortable, exhale slowly through the nose. And bring yourself now seated onto your cushion or rolled blanket because we're going to get to the meditative portion, this one. And we have a 2-part meditation. The first part is listening to Drake Rakanahar, and it is a song of victory. And so we talked earlier about doing the chant when you're returning from battle. And so again, I would ask you or invite you to reflect on what sort of victory is there to celebrate for yourself. So I'm going to cue up the song. I hope that you can hear it. And the posture here, the fingers will be interlaced behind the neck. And the elbows are going to stay out. And this can be a very vulnerable feeling posture. Figure out how to settle into it as much as your body's ready to. The tendency will be for these elbows to come forward and for us to protect ourselves and to start to turn in. Keep those elbows out as much as possible. And all you're going to do here, keeping that gaze inward, you're just going to keep this posture and just listen. Good. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Take just one moment to attend to your body. We're going to move back into that posture for the second part of the meditation. So keeping the hands here behind the neck, the elbows lifted. The next part, we're going to, now that we've opened the heart, release some of that tension. We're going to pump the navel point here. And we're going to focus on building our strength, our inner vitality, getting that in a place so that we can act. to be able to have that calm come out of us. So the next song that we play, it's Pavan Pavan, and you'll hear the beat, and all you're going to do is pump the navel to the beat that you feel while you keep the hands lifted here. And we'll be here for about 6 minutes. So you really may start to have some thoughts come up. You may start to what we call meet yourself. One of my teachers refers to it as the twilight zone. Take a moment to just be kind with yourself as these things are coming up. Stick to the breath, let it anchor you, and do some navel pumping here. Good. Inhale deeply here. Retain that posture. Retain the breath. Hold it. Exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. 1 more time. Deeply. Suspend the breath. Exhale completely. Lift the arms up. Shake, shake, shake. Shake it out. Let the breath do whatever it wants now. Shake those arms out. Attend to your neck. Attend to your body. Anything last minute that you need to relax before we just move into our relaxation posture. So let yourself come lying down onto your back. You may want to get cozy and cover yourself with a blanket here. You may have worked up quite a bit of heat on that one, and maybe you don't want to cover up. Do whatever feels nice to you. So let your feet spread as wide as your mat. Let your arms fall away from the sides of your body, palms facing up. Let your shoulders come away from the ears. As you relax your breath, relax the tops of your feet, your ankles, calves and knees. Relax the thighs. Relax the hips. As you relax the breath, relax the belly. Relax the lower back, the back of the ribs, and the shoulder blades. As you sink deeper into your support. Relax the hands, relax the elbows and the shoulders. Relax the muscles in the neck, the lower jaw so that there's space between the teeth. Relax the muscles on the face, the eyes behind the eyelids, brow, forehead, scalp are all at ease. Allow yourself now to rest and integrate the work that you've put in today. Feel the energy circulating through you as your body heals its 3 trillion plus cells. Slowly begin to return to your breath. Deepening your breath as you return back to your body in this moment in time and space. Begin to invite tiny movements into your fingertips and toes. Rotate the feet around the ankles and the hands around the wrists in all directions. On your inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead. Give yourself a full body stretch, just like you're waking up in the morning. On the exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. Give that lower back, your kidneys, your adrenals, just a little massage. From here, rub together the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. Briskly rub the tongue along the roof of the mouth, stimulating your body's meridian points and energy centers. And from here, either rock and roll along the spine at least 3 times, or turn yourself over to one side and just push yourself up to come back to seated. We'll finish with the Long Time Sunshine song. Again, we close out class and practice to send all of our peace and blessings the first time to ourselves, anything that we'd like to cultivate. The second time to everyone we know, everyone we have yet to meet. So take a moment to visualize that. Bring your hands back to heart center. Feel the thumbs touching against your sternum. Take a moment to reconnect with your intention for today's practice. Maybe visualize yourself embodying calm. Take a moment to visualize someone in your life that you'd like to pass along the gift of calm. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to sink. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. May we be happy, may we be healthy, may we be holy, may we find a strength, courage, vulnerability to practice calmness and to make it our superpower. Satnam. Satnam, everyone. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Again, if you have any questions, if you're looking for more information about this practice, you're having difficulty looking for some new behaviors or routines that you'd like to incorporate into your day, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope the best for you. I hope that you're well. Please take care until next time.